Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder here, and in today's video we're looking at some tier 10 cruiser gameplay. As always, my captain build on this Hindenburg is a tier 10 German heavy cruiser. For my captain build, it's a little bit different because I had it set up more for AA, I guess, but now Clan Wars has come around and switched it up a little bit, but for my captain build, I'm running priority target, adrenaline rush, superintendent concealment. Then in this replay, I have AFT. Then I go with actually two more 2-point perks. So I go with Jack of all trades, and I pair that with the signal flag to reduce that cooldown a little bit more. And then also I do expert marksman and then expert loader. I've always kind of been not always, but at least in the last, I'd say 5 to 6 months, I've been a really big fan of expert loader, just because it just, as a cruiser you have to be so versatile, and I think that's a very versatile perk, being the fact that cruisers are the highest they depend the most on the ammunition choice that you have. And so having the right ammunition loaded at the right time is, of course, the utmost of importance. And so that's kind of why I use expert loader quite a bit. The Hindenburg obviously doesn't need it so much as maybe a Zhao would or an Henri, but of course it is always still quite nice. Now going over my what do you call it, upgrades, I'm running main battery mod 1, then like damage control. That one doesn't really matter. If you got a special upgrade, you can kind of use that special upgrade, whatever one you have. Then I go with a range, so a guns modification 2, I believe, then steering gears, concealment, and then main battery modification. So I get a nice variety. I am a little bit more heavy on the AA focus, so just so you guys are wondering, I do go for a little bit more heavy AA build. I don't typically do that, but it is what it is. So we got some midway AP bombs coming in here. Get a little nervous because these can hurt, but I pop my defensive fire, and then I also turn as much as I can perpendicular to those torpedoes to try and mitigate most of the damage. And I also mitigate that. Gearing here, he's going to be sailing at a pretty good angle, and I'm going to be shooting AP at him. And you can see there, 8600 there. And I actually did manage to get a couple pens on him too, seeing that even just 8 overpens still wouldn't be enough for the for that much damage. So that's of course nice. And obviously I do run spotter plane now. I do think the benefit to spotter plane is so much greater than catapult fighter, just because, one, you get longer range, which is always nice, especially on an 8-inch cruiser. Being able to rain HE shells on your opponents every 9-ish seconds is quite awesome. And then, of course, the fires. The fires are just incredible. If you do end up putting Demo Expert on this captain, then it can be quite dirty. But I choose not to. Unfortunately, the spotting plane does not last for too long, so you do have to be a bit mindful of that. And additionally, another benefit to that spotter plane is it does orbit around your ship a little bit farther than your typical catapult fighter does. So that's also an added benefit. You can spot destroyers. I've spotted many destroyers actually, using that to my advantage, as well as torpedoes. Of course, if you run Hydra on the Hindenburg, which is, it's a complete option, does have pretty good hydro. That is, I mean, doesn't necessarily help you in that situation, but still, irregardless of that, it is still a good option in my opinion. Now, of course, a midway deck is too strong for my HE, even though I have quarter HE pen, but I do get some pens on the superstructure and get some that way. Mainly, I'm going for fires. That's my main thing. And even though I have AP loaded here, I'm going to unload it on this gearing. Gearing is fat enough where I can still get some a few pens. You can kind of see that there, about a little over 4k damage. with some just AP rounds, and that's something that it's unfortunate for the gearing, but fortunately though for me it is a feature. Now here I'm getting a little bit worried because I'm kind of starting to get into a bad position here, being I've got two battleships on my right. Granted, they are 16 and 22 kilometers away from me, but I've got that to deal with as well as midway torpedo bombers and AP bombers, as well as the Hindenburg. So I'm going to have to either go dark here or completely rethink what I'm doing and kind of enjoy burning / dying really quick here. So I decide that it's of utmost importance that I kill this Hindenburg first before I proceed. And actually, the Zao kills him, which is pretty good. I probably would have had him the next level. But here I switched to AP, and again, staying on the topic of choosing the right ammo for the right time. That first salvo could have been a little bit better. This follow-up salvo is not going to be nearly as good, but of course, being able to change your reload at any point, having the ability to do that is very nice. And so I switch to HE here and start burning this midway down. And as soon as I get a fire, I'm probably going to switch to the Kurfürst, kind of change the amount of damage that I'm dealing to everyone. That way, while I'm burning this midway down, this Kurfürst is also burning, and simultaneously they're both dying at the same time. And of course, if they're both simultaneously burning at the same time, they're probably going to be a little bit more conservative with their health, or maybe won't shoot as much. They're going to be sitting at longer range, that sort of thing. So that means that our team gains ground, not only, but it also means that it's effectively taking a ship out of the game. Of course, a battleship on 10k HP sitting at 20 kilometers is still a battleship sitting at 20 kilometers at 10k HP, and it is still very, very dangerous. You can't sail broadside, that sort of thing. So you still have to be cautious, but of course, it also helps my team. If they see a battleship at 10k health, at 20 kilometers, they're going to be a little bit more aggressive than if that battleship was at 12 kilometers. So, but here I see that we're going to be, we actually just lost our midway, and that's, before we were going to. So I'm going to try and make this an even match again, and kill this midway. Of course, the midway is still very powerful with its deck. You saw there 6 non-penetrations, but of course the fire is what gets the midway a lot of times. And he actually DCPs that. He's waiting till the very last moment. And actually, my kills can be stolen, I guess, there again. So a couple of my kills stolen there, the gearing, the Hindenburg, and then the midway. Not that they were necessarily my kills, but I felt like I did the most work on them, per se. So here's another interesting situation. I've got 2 battleships in F5, and then I have this Kurfürst in H7, and then a Massachusetts directly to my front. So I have to angle against all that, and then some planes. So obviously this is not good, but being the Hindenburg that I am, and being able to just completely melt these planes, and also being a very tanky cruiser, I'm able to dodge most of the Montana shells, and then the Kurfürst gets stolen from me again too. How wonderful. And then I'm also able to survive that air raid. So in situations like this, I think it's important to sometimes not turn out, especially because I wasn't going unspotted there until that Kurfürst died. And when you're in situations like this, you have to realize, okay, what ships, one, are the lowest health that I can kill, and what is spotting me. So in that situation, the lowest health initially before the torps hit that Kurfürst wasn't the Kurfürst. So that wasn't really an option. The second situation was what will get me unspotted so I can make this turn, especially in a cruiser. And that was the Kurfürst, and that's why I wanted to focus that guy as much as possible. Now, I'm not going to chase the Massachusetts. There's really no point. He's sailing away. If our DD wanted to, he could go cap. I'm more concerned with the 2 DDs, 3 DDs running up through our base and into D, attacking some of our battleships. So I'm going to go deal with that, as well as an Iowa. So I'm going to go deal with that and kind of help support my Kurfürst and Zhao and even Musashi too. So this is basically pure map awareness. That's identifying that the Massachusetts is always going to run. This Montana is going to stall. Same with this Musashi. But this Iowa and their 3DD, and his 3DD buddies are going to be pushing without any remorse. So I see that there's a Grozvoy there. I'm going to start putting some shells in here. And like, I also talked this about in my North Carolina smoke shooting video, but I slow down here. I recognize that his last salvo came from about 7.3, 7.4 kilometers. So, and even though I'm still going away, I'm going to try and keep around that distance. And then you can see there I'm still getting pretty consistent hits. But obviously, as I speed up, I'm going to need to increase the distance. But I know that it's around... my reference point is 7.5 kilometers, and then slowly going up. Obviously, the faster I go, the more I have to aim forward. And then as soon as I'm kind of starting to lose a lot of, not really gaining anything from my DPM, I'm going to switch off. Now here, this is a bit dangerous. I wanted to, get this island between me and the Grozvoy, but I also wanted to take out this Iowa, and I had to be very, very careful here. I was very, very tempted to go and go after that Iowa with my full broadside, and boy, do I skip out there. However, I should have gained my speed and only used my back turrets. Reason being, I'm going to take a torpedo. Just kidding. RNG had me. So, very nice luck there, I guess you could say. I would say calculated. I think that rear torpedo wouldn't have hit me. I think I would have only taken one, but I did get pretty lucky there that I didn't eat that torpedo. So the Missouri radars, I'm going to shoot this Shimakaze. This Missouri is also going to shoot this Shimakaze, and guess who's going to get the kill? The Missouri. So I've been robbed of probably a crack in here, but I'm going to start shooting this Grozvoy, and the worst thing that he could do right now is turn broadside, and that's exactly what he's going to do. And me being the player that I am, I'm just going to punish him for it. Kind of. Should have been a better shot for sure. But, seeing that he was at a higher, like, 15K, and now he's down to 8K, it wasn't the most successful radar, but I think it was more important that we got the Shimakaze. So I'm going to pop my spotter plane again, one for looking out for torps, because the torps should be ready pretty soon, and there they are actually. They're either the Grozvoys or the Shimakazes, but either way, I think I helped spot them. But I'm going to try and shoot this Grozvoy, but Zhao's going to kill him. That Zhao's having a great game. I'm just wondering where all my kills are. I guess I sacrificed plane kills for ship kills this match. But, nonetheless. So basically what I'm going to do here is, I also looked at the map too. And World of Warships is, I would say, 25% map knowledge and 25% positional awareness and positional knowledge. And then the rest is, angling, gunplay, captain builds, and module upgrade build. Other than that, Warships is pretty much RNG. There's not much else you can do. RNG is always going to be a big factor, but limiting RNG is, of course, the only option we have. But so I look at the map, and here again, there's my spotter, my plane spotting this Grozvoy. That's again another reason why I run it, and I know that, well, he just dumped torps, most likely. So he's going to be... I'm going to have to turn in sooner or later. And of course, I'm not getting as many hits as I want here. That's part of the trade-off with this current build that I was running at the time with the AA range mod and AFT. Alternatively, you could have... I could have ran AFT and then also had accuracy, and that could have helped me hit a couple more hits on that Grozvoy. But regardless, again, I looked at the map and I realized that we had 2 battleships down I guess, down south, as well as a DD. And then we've got myself and then this Zhao against the Musashi and a Grozavoy. So we, of course, have to, I have to be down here. So my one concern now is that this Grozavoy had turned around, turned south, and is basically rushing me. That is my biggest concern now, and because I don't have Hydro, that is ever, it's even more terrifying. And here you can kind of see I turned in, but I realized that this Musashi's just charging me. I don't really want to charge him. We are up on points. We have the cap advantage. You know, have a 100-point lead. So I'm just going to turn out and kite. And that's another thing that you have to always be concerned about is what is, you know, what's going to keep me alive. Because when you stay alive, you know, you're always a threat. If you don't stay alive, obviously you're not a threat. And here I pick up a Confederate, hoping that Missouri was just YOLO rushing me full speed and hoping that my torpedoes would get there. But the one counter to the Hindenburg is a Musashi. I got a little lucky there. He maybe didn't aim the best per se, but of course, using my expert loader, I'm gonna start pelting some AP directly into his upper belt, and oof, man, 9K, and then let's see what the follow-up salvo is. Another 9K salvo, and suddenly that 35K health that he had is looking quite grim. And now, again, talking about the 18.1-inch shells, they hurt a lot. Now, at this point, I know that he's shot. I can open up my broadside a little bit, get a second fire on him, and start just burning him to death. And as soon as this Musashi goes down, which he goes down right there because of my quarter pen HE, I'm going to kind of try and reset this Grozavoy, and basically the Montana's going to die, and then we're going to win. So I hope you guys enjoyed this replay. If something sounds a little bit different, I do apologize. For whatever reason, NVIDIA wasn't working with me today. I couldn't get the recording using that, so I had to use OBS, which I'm sure is fine. If it's actually better, then that works too. But basically, this game is going to wrap up here pretty shortly. I don't know if the Grozavoy dies or not, but yeah, let's check out the post-battle results. So looking at the post-battle results, we ended up with 700 grand, 22,000 XP, 16K free XP. And only a Confederate probably was robbed pretty hard of a Kraken, potentially a hot caliber as well. But I ended up with nearly 190,000 damage, 35 plane kills, which is quite nice. That carrier went after me almost all game. I did manage to get 2 kills and then 13 fires as well, which was quite nice. No citadels, which is somewhat rare for Hindenburg. Usually I can pull a couple citadels, but you know, when you're doing consistent 9K salvos to a Yamato, the citadels don't really matter all that much anymore. Team score wise, and holy cow, 3,441 base XP, which is quite nice. Very nice game here. The rest of my team, they did their job. I think the Zhao did help out in the end, even though he might have stolen a couple of my kills. It's okay, because he did end up at least forcing that Musashi there at the end to make a decision whether he wanted to chase after me or chase after the Zhao. So very nice play there at the end, and the team was. I thought this was a pretty good match, a bit interesting. Losing both of the enemy carriers pretty much midway through the game. So with that being said, let's move on to the detailed report and kind of see the damage distribution here. It's not really crazy, but when you look at it, you know, I did a lot of damage to the gearing. I think 16K to the gearing, and then almost 22K to the Grozavoy. So that's, I mean, it's a good game. And then in the meantime, I got 2 million potential, 20K off of Witherer, which wasn't too bad. And again, I would have loved to have more AP, showcase AP a little bit more, especially against cruisers, because it is quite deadly. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to. Credits and XP, Well, this was a 200% weekend or week per se, but I managed to take that into full effect. Managed to get a lot of XP and a lot of Commander XP as well, which at tier 10, once you get a 19-point captain, all that goes to yummy elite Commander XP, and boy, am I loving it. I had zero at this, pretty much zero at the start of the weekend, whatever, and then now I'm up to like 1.5, almost 1.5 million elite Commander XP. So I'm very thankful for that. And I leveled a couple of the ships during that weekend, and just kind of I started this week with like 390,000 free XP, and then with games like this and clan battles, I think I'm at like 580 now. I mean, I did play a lot, but I mean, it was just very, very nice being able to grind all that free XP, especially for some special ships that could be coming to World of Warships. Anyways, guys, I do apologize if you noticed a big difference in the recording quality here. Again, like I said, I did record with OBS this time as opposed to NVIDIA, but nonetheless, I hope my commentary was good, and I hope the gameplay was even better. But if you did enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe, comment, whatever. Have a nice day, guys. See you all later.